Hundreds of thousands of Epstein files are finally released. Emails, videos, transcripts from a major investigation into the sex offender. Plus, more photos of his rich and famous associates, though none show evidence of wrongdoing. But not all the files will be released by tonight's deadline. On that, survivors are furious.
Justice delayed is justice denied, and I really feel that if we don't get all of the files, it's justice denied.
Tonight, the FBI says it's identified more than 1,000 victims of his vile abuse. Also on the programme, David Walliams denies allegations of inappropriate behaviour after his publisher drops him. The wife, her lover and the botched attempt to murder her husband. He is left wondering if there was a simpler way out.
You know, I don't understand. I still don't understand to this day why she didn't, ask for a divorce.
And pick on someone your own size. Heavyweight boxing in uncharted territory.
This is ITV News with Yasmin Bottleby.
Good evening. The long-awaited release of the Epstein files has been met with anger and disappointment by survivors. Tonight, hundreds of thousands of documents relating to the American sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were made public, but it's not the full set. Many are also heavily redacted, prompting fury from Donald Trump's opponents. What we have learned is the true scale of Epstein's abuse. The Department of Justice said it identified more than 1,000 victims as part of its investigation. And there were more photos of Epstein's lavish lifestyle and celebrity associates. With the details now, here's our US correspondent, Dan Rivers.
After so much expectation, this is what greeted those who managed to access the first cache of the Epstein files tonight. About 20% of the roughly 300,000 files were heavily redacted. But among the tens of thousands of images were some which were eye-raising. Several showed Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein, including Clinton in a hot tub, but the former president has always denied any wrongdoing. Some photos showed Epstein and the late pop star Michael Jackson. And here is the magician David Copperfield with Ghislaine Maxwell. This photo shows Andrew Mountbatten Windsor lying across a row of women. Sarah Ferguson also appears, along with Mick Jagger. These photos, while embarrassing for those who appear in them, do not prove any wrongdoing. Today, one Epstein survivor expressed her frustration at the amount of material which hasn't been released.
Justice delayed is justice denied, and I really feel that if we don't get all of the files, then, it's justice denied.
This is the gold card, as you know.
For a man who normally relishes his press conferences, today Donald Trump was uncharacteristically reluctant to take questions whilst touting his new immigration card.
I really don't want to soil it up by asking questions, even questions that are very fair questions that I'd love to answer. So I think we have to just stop right here.
Deciding not to face the scrutiny of the press afterwards.
Thank you. About your insurance idea, Mr. President.
Deputy Attorney General, thanks so much for giving us some time this morning.
One of Trump's senior legal officials confirmed today's release is not comprehensive, as required by the law Trump himself signed.
What we're doing is we are looking at every single piece of paper that we are going to produce, making sure that every victim, their name, their identity, their story, to the extent it needs to be protected, is completely protected. And so I expect that we're going to release more documents over the next couple of weeks. So today, several 100,000, and then over the next couple weeks, I expect several 100,000 more.
It's provoked the fury of the Democrats who today accuse the Trump administration of a cover-up. Previously, they've warned officials who refused to release the files could themselves face prosecution.
If Pam Bondi does not comply with the law, she will be held either in inherent contempt of Congress or subject to impeachment. We will not rest until the law is complied with and justice is served.
It will take days, perhaps weeks, for all of these files to be examined, but even on a first cursory scan, they do pose many new questions. How Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell managed to get such breathtaking access to those in positions of power and fame, and who knew about the true nature of their paedophile activities.
Dan, these files are going to take a very long time to go through, and it's not even all of them. What happens in the coming days?
Well, I think we'll see the beginning of a pretty protracted and bitter legal and political battle between the Democrats and the Republicans over this, or rather actually most politicians in Congress and the Trump administration, because don't forget the Epstein Transparency Act was passed almost unanimously, only one voted against in the House and completely unanimously in the Senate, and they'll want answers as to why there have been so many redactions and why not all of the files have been published today as required by that law. What we've got so far mostly seems to come from the prosecutions of Epstein and Maxwell. It gives, a sense of some of the material. Huge amounts, as I say, has been redacted. We've got some of those photos, but that doesn't prove by itself any wrongdoing. I think the one thing that is conspicuous by its absence is the complete lack of any photos of Donald Trump in all of this, even though we know that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were very close friends.
OK, Dan, thank you.